When I say style, what comes to your mind? Clothes? Home decor? Hair? When I first built my hanger logo, it was specifically to distinguish me from people who cut hair. But the hanger sort of implied either shopping with you or working in your closet. So today I'm going to unpack what the different archetypes of style professionals actually do, so you can decide who to hire based on what kind of help you actually need. And stay through to the end, because I'm going to share how you can begin to find your own personal style archetype. I'm Rebecca Mielke. I take you on a journey of self-discovery to create harmony with who you really are, so you can have more resources left to achieve the impact you're here for. Before we jump into archetypes, I want to invite you to take my free style personality quiz. Find the link in the show description or at my website, signaturestylesystems.com. To be honest, nobody really knows what the title is for people who work in this industry. Like, I like the term visual identity guide for myself, because how you present yourself says something about who you are. And I think it's more important for you to be accurate and authentic with that message than to put on an image for effect. So here's some common archetypes or images that pop to mind when you think of image professionals. And the first one is a makeover artist. A few weeks ago, I drew the hot seat in my business community. When the facilitator asked what people thought I did, the first answer given was, like what not to wear, but with some qualifier like without the budget or something like that. So here are some questions that go through my mind when I think about these kind of shows, TV makeovers, and I like that kind of thing. I love to watch that stuff, but I always wonder, does the person really feel like themselves? Is the change going to stick? And will they be going home to dress some days like this new image and some days like the old? It feels like these makeovers are unlikely to make a sustainable difference in a person's life, but I could be wrong. I feel like we all sort of have this fantasy of being the subject of a makeover, but would it really be satisfactory if it happened? Okay, the next archetype that comes to mind is a celebrity stylist. So this, I think, is where it comes from, that people think that they aren't the type of person who has a stylist, because a celebrity stylist is part of the celebrity's staff. They have people to manage everything. This person manages their image and style, and they maintain relationships with designers and brands for that purpose. And this is a whole different world from most of us, certainly a whole different world from me. But stylists are not only for celebrities. There is such a thing as a personal stylist, and this is for people. So a personal stylist is trained in the technical aspects of what looks good on different body types, proportions, and all that kind of technical stuff. These professionals, you might also find them called style coaches or image consultants. They should be able to tell you about their training. Stores, I'm noticing, are starting to call their workers stylists. And I wouldn't necessarily count on those people having training, although they might, the store might provide that. People who are just generally like artistic or have a good eye, sometimes they also go into business as a stylist. And why it matters whether people have training or not is more, it's less about how they can help you and more like how they can put a look on you that's probably going to look good. Hopefully none of them would ever put a look on you That's just what they would do for themselves. But it matters whether they can teach you to replicate what they do. Because most of us that are like basic everyday people aren't gonna have a stylist that's gonna do everything for us all the time. So we want to learn how to do it ourselves. So some personal stylists are gonna offer more hands-on type of work, like creating packing lists, uh, doing personal shopping, either online or in person, doing closet cleanouts and organization. Others are going to focus more on helping you learn to do those things for yourself. I consider myself more of a teach a man to fish stylist. And the people at the business hot seat that I was talking about who were disappointed were the ones who hoped I would come and do their closets. And there were some people there that don't want somebody to come into their closet. And that I can certainly understand. And all of what I do in this realm is done online. Okay, so moving on to color. Color consultants, seasonal color draping has become all the rage again, and these professionals mostly work by draping swatches of color below your face and then evaluating which are best on you. Then they give you a color season with a predefined palette. And there's versions of this that you can get online as well. So people who consult on other uses of colors like interiors or branding, they may also call themselves color consultants. The draping is not something that I do. I have something that sort of fits in here. I'll talk about that in a minute. Color designers work a little differently. So if you there's like an organization called Color Designers International or something. I mean, I think it's a trade group. So those people choose each color or like a range of colors specifically for the individual client. And that results in a custom palette for each client. So this is more what I do when you get your signature color palette and guide. So back to the business community hot seat. The next person who raised her hand said that she understood what I do to be more like business branding, but for yourself. And this is getting a lot closer. The other thing that came up in this meeting is that $247 feels like a lot to these women for opening price point. So in answer to that, I've got something exciting, a branding palette. So I've taken my palette that I do digitally, do online, that's sort of comparable to a seasonal color palette. It's $97 and it's a digital palette, not a fabric. And I've added a page to that where I select 5 colors for you to focus on. You can use it for business branding or for a capsule wardrobe, or just to take the overwhelm out of having 48 to 60 colors to choose from. You can find the link to this in the show notes. Now, switching gears. Recently, I attended a personal development retreat where we were working through the Jungian cognitive functions, which is what I help you find when you do the personality profiling and palette, and how we relate to them based on our own personality and experiences. So I have been experiencing significant challenges in my extroverted thinking, which is not even in my car, not even in my first 4 functions. And that function is all about achievement and getting things done and managing resources. So during my coaching, it became apparent that my problem isn't actually with a function, but more with an archetype. I felt limited in my life by people who embody the queen archetype, or I did until the paradigm shifted, because the group sees me more like a fairy godmother. And in that paradigm, there's no reason to feel limited by the queen, is there? Now, I know that it's a common practice to choose a style icon and model yourself after that person as an archetype. But I want to share a little about how it works in my online visual identity program, your self-discovery journey. Rather than modeling yourself after someone else, I have a system for discovering your aesthetic, the version of beauty that connects to your essence. Then you become your own archetype. So here is your homework for this episode. I suggest you journal about the impact you believe you're here to create in the world. And then consider this question. If you knew what you were wearing was right for you, how much more time and energy and money would be available for you to pursue that dream? That's what I want for you. Thanks for being here for Signature Style Systems.